Live from the City of Angels, it's MMT Emergency Edition here on Friday night. I was just chilling out, and then the news came in that we're about to get into here on this Friday night. Live, as always, on Midnight Movie Talk X and YouTube tonight. Have a look at why we are here this evening. It is because of what you see right there. You see a B minus cinema score for this film. Okay. Why is that important? What does that mean? Those of you asking me, and that's fine. I understand if you're wondering why this is an emergency edition, because this is the lowest ever cinema score for any Marvel film ever. This is telling me that audiences are hammering Captain America right now. Obviously, you can see it in what this grade tells you, a B minus. Now, you're going to say a B minus isn't that bad, right? It's like, well, on a grading scale, here's the problem. Cinema Score doesn't rate like that. It is heavy on the front end, on the top. It is very heavy on the distribution towards the A minus. You really don't even want to go to a B plus. So this is now, as you see, below Eternals and the Marvels. Two films that were not fortuitous for Marvel. And as you look here tonight at the grade, this is really bad news going forward for this film. We'll get into some of the box office numbers. Deadline does have that. But what this tells you, this B minus, is even if it looks okay this weekend and audiences are going to the multiplex because there hasn't been anything there for a while, right? We've had just a real slow start to the year with films like Wolfman and Heart Eyes and some real trash. And now you finally have a tentpole, right? The big four quad, young, old, male, female kind of film that can come in and do a $75+ million opening. Now, in the old days, Marvel would hit 100 easy. Obviously, you're going to see the numbers here. We're not there, but it's not disastrous, not this weekend. But this right here tells me word of mouth is going to be bad, okay? Again, if you look here, go to comicbookmovie.com. And it tells you right here, the lowest grade ever for Marvel before this was a B, which was the Marvels, Eternals, and Ant-Man 3, a film that I didn't hate. But, right, this is already bad at a B. This is below that. There's a lot of people who want to see this film fail. Okay, right? We know that. Everyone knows that. They don't like the recasting. They're pissed that Evans isn't doing it anymore. Okay, yeah, so that's a problem. I'm not biased. I don't think the film's terrible. But audiences, whether they had an axe to grind or not, this grade of B minus is historically awful. So that's why we're here tonight. That's why we're doing the stream. Okay. Now let's do the box office and talk about where this film is going. According to Deadline, directly from them, they are the box office authority when it comes to early numbers. No one does it better than Deadline. 39 million today. That includes 12 million from last night, which will be roughly 80+ million on the 3-day when you do the multiple, and then a 4-day because of President's Day on Monday of 90 million plus. So this is not the worst case scenario for Marvel in this first weekend. But remember, Ant-Man 3 came out in 2023, the same weekend, and did 106 million for the 3-day. Okay. So you can see Marvel fatigue. Obviously, this isn't like the Marvel's bad, but it's not, again, looking good long term. The good news for this film is there's nothing upcoming that's really that substantial that will dent it. In the summertime, we get tentpole, as we saw with the Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. That film got bulldozed in between huge films, particularly Barbie and Oppenheimer on the back end, just squeezed it out. So this time of year, you can get away with a little longer run without that big competition. But again, if the word of mouth is bad, like we're seeing here tonight, again, to that B minus cinema score, then that tells me that we're in trouble. And you're going to say, well, what were the previous drops for films that did poorly, such as The Marvels at a B cinema score. Again, better here tonight than Captain America Brave New World. And you can see it dropped 78% in its second weekend. I mean, good Lord, right? No one went to see it after that first. No one saw it first weekend, 46 million. I mean, at least that's above that. But this was the nadir for Marvel, and thank God for them. They had Deadpool and Wolverine in the barrel next, because if they had anything else, it was going to be really a disaster again for the MCU. But we talked about how Deadpool Wolverine was a different animal, right? It was about Jackman and Reynolds, okay? I mean, Reynolds is definitely taking a stock hit right now, as we see with the whole situation with Baldoni, Lively, that whole thing he's involved with, obviously, and that's an issue. But, before that, Deadpool Wolverine was a $1.3 billion film, and Marvel's like, hey, we feel good about themselves. But if I were to have Kevin Feige on the stream, he would have to, and I would ask him, let's talk about how much a part of Deadpool Wolverine was everyone wanting to watch those characters. Okay, the success of that film was particularly all about those characters, not about the MCU. So now that you don't have those characters, you got Mackie taking over as Captain America. You're looking at a situation where Marvel's in trouble. Okay, so if it drops at a 78%, I mean, let's go and look at Eternals. Eternals second weekend dropped 62%. Ant-Man Quantumania dropped nearly, call it 70%, 69.9. So the drop for Captain America, let's just take it at minus 70, right? It opens at, let's call it 80, okay? What's minus 70%? Don't ask me to do the math this fast. On a Sunday morning, when I have my calculations in front of me, I can do that. Okay, so let's just say half of the 80 would be 40 next weekend, and we're going down another 20% on that. So that's the issue, right? Is long term, this film is in bad shape. I think it's fair to say here tonight. When you look at the Rotten Tomatoes score, the audience score is only 79%. That's not strong. Critics now at 50-50. I still would have gone Rotten, but it's not as bad as you've been told. I mean, listen, it's not a great film. We talked about it last night, okay? But I'm not going to say it's, the worst thing ever made, okay? It's not that. There's a lot of people in the space, as we know, who get views, likes, subscribers, all that shit through trashing what the audience wants them to trash and, praising the stuff that the audience really wants them to praise. And that's not what we do here. I'm a journalist, okay? I am. And I know that's, listen, tonight I'm doing journalism, right? Last night I was doing the film critic thing with, of course, the box office. So that's some journalism. But, listen, you have to be fair. You cannot come into this space. Well, I mean, are you kidding me? Of course you can. I'm the only one who is objective. Truly is. Because listen, remember, even if you don't think I'm objective, I'm not very political when it comes down to like anti-woke, right? That's an issue for a lot of people. I'm just talking about the numbers here tonight and this grade. This is bad. Okay. That's the journalistic look at this. Okay. And the color commentary look at this it's bad. So take the two and make a hybrid. And MCU's in trouble, man. I'm telling you. We knew it was. I mean, we talked about this weeks ago, guys. We talked about how the fact that this film had to be great to really reinvigorate the MCU brand, because Deadpool Wolverine was an aberration. It's just the outlier. Just take it out, almost like just remove it, and then go from Marvels to where we are here tonight. And you can see why Disney's pressing and why they brought back RDJ to play Doom. They're like, we got to do something. Let's do some stunt casting. I mean, this franchise, the entire MCU brand, I think they're lucky that they have Fantastic Four coming up, because people just want to see those characters and what they do with it, set back in the 60s. So maybe that's a different approach. It's got to be better than this. Again, not a great film. Thunderbolt's probably not going to be very successful. I don't think it's going to open as high as this, right? Why would it? So you look at Marvel. We talked about this with Endgame, right? We talked about the fact that it's over. I mean, the days of Marvel in the way that we used to know it on the build to Endgame and then immediately following with No Way Home and even Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Midness. You were just talking about a situation where you had everybody still interested in the product and they were drawn into the storylines, how they're going to wrap, what's next. And then we all know how badly this was fumbled by the MCU, by Kevin Feige, by Marvel Studios, by releasing an Eternals. And most of you hated Thor Love and Thunder. I did not hate that film. I thought it was fun, but I understand. Ant-Man 3, same thing, right? And you look at Marvel's total disaster. Okay. That's the worst MCU film. It's really not a contest. Okay. This is not as bad as the Marvels. And anyone who tells you that is looking for views. Okay. They're looking to make some kind of impact. Hey guys, look at me. It's worse than the Marvels. It's not. Okay. So you just got to know there's just so many disingenuous people in the space, and I just can't stand it. Is what it is. We're never going to do that. But tonight, from a very fair, objective standpoint, this B minus cinema score, worst ever in Marvel's history, and the box office numbers early lead us to believe that, trust me when I tell you, down the street, Manhattan Beach, Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, Disney, right across the street from me here in Burbank, they are freaking out, as they should be. Okay. They were no doubt worried about this film going into it with those reshoots and all the word that this thing was a mess. So that didn't help. They also had to know it's not a great film, right? I didn't recommend the film. I just told you it's not the worst film that's ever been made. Okay. It's certainly not even the worst MCU film. So that is, again, being fair about this. But Disney and Marvel tonight, what do we do? I mean, we've already done, we're working towards Avengers, right? We're working towards another building of the team, which this film tries to lay the cornerstone of that. Hey, now we're going to get the Avengers together, which is very, highlighted here in this film. But when you look at, will that succeed? It's Avengers, but it's not going to be. It's not going to be Avengers. It's not going to be Age of Ultron. It's not going to be Infinity War. It certainly isn't going to be Endgame. I told you, it's over. Guys, it's over. The Avengers and the MCU, everything that we knew from 2019, that was the peak. It's never coming back, right? It's like a stock that hit its high and it's never going to return. That's what's happening, okay? And we all knew that was going to happen. But I think that it was fumbled harder by the mistakes made with the films we've mentioned, particularly in Eternals, that really underwhelmed. And then, Shang-Chi was better than we expected, but really it's like an elevated Disney Plus movie, right? So people aren't talking about the MCU anymore, right? The average person, yeah, maybe they check out Captain America at $80 million. That's not even a huge opening, right? It's not a $150 million opening where you get pretty much all of humanity at least sort of interested. It's half of that. But at this point, you just don't have the buzz. You don't have the interest from the average person, and it's not getting better. It's only going to get worse with Thunderbolts, a film that's even smaller on the radar to most people than the film we are talking about here tonight, Captain America, Brave New World. Because at least, whether you like Mackie or not, the film is titled Captain America, okay? The average person goes, what the fuck are the Thunderbolts? Okay. Yes, again, Fantastic Four, because of it's another reboot. You've got some names in there that people seem to be excited about. I don't know why, but they are. And then you look at the film just being something different. I mean, listen, is it going to open at 150 million? No. I mean, does it get to 90, 100? Maybe. At this point, again, if you have Marvel stock, it's time to sell. It was time to sell. It's not going back. Okay. It hit its peak. No Way Home was pretty much the end of this ride, right? And then we had the Multiverse of Midness, and then we got that film and go, oh my God. And looking back at it, that was actually a much more exciting film than what we just got here this weekend. So, you ask me, what's the fix? We talk about that all the time here at MMT. There isn't one. You have to go back and get in the time machine, get in the DeLorean, and go back and rewrite this stuff and try again. And it's too late. There's no saving it. And Feige knows that. I mean, they can try to bring in RDJ as Doom. It's only going to amount to a bump that will be, yeah, I mean, opening weekend, but unless the film is great, again, these films aren't great. And that's the other issue. If you expect people to get excited about your product again, you can't just give them storylines that aren't exciting. The movies are underwhelming. So there's your problem, right? It's that 1-2 toxic combo of middling film with, just lame storylines. And then you're looking at where we are here tonight. Streaming ended a lot of things, MCU included. The hype is gone, the era's past. I mean, we talk about that all the time, right? Kuzma, we talk about how the cachet of theatrical is no longer what it used to be back in 2019. As we talked about weeks ago here on MMT, Quentin Tarantino discussing how 2019 was the last year of true film when we had those 90-day windows. And once we had COVID and we were told that if you go to the movies, you'll kill everybody. And then everyone was like, please give us the movies at home. That's what happened, right? And then theaters were on the ropes. And thank God they survived. But now we have to go back to windows, right? We have to get at least a 45 to 60-day window. You're not going to get a 90 because studios aren't going to do that. I want at least a 45. Again, I would get it done tomorrow. I talked about this every single time we discuss this. If you put me in charge of this tomorrow, I will work for Regal, AMC, Cinemark, all of them together. Okay? I'm going to be the spokesman for the chains. I'm going to get Sony, Disney, Warner Brothers, Paramount, Universal, everyone on the horn on Tuesday when they're back in the office, and we are going to say, listen, here's what's up. If you debut in any one of our chains, you have a 45-day window that you cannot show that at home. I don't care if it bombs opening weekend and you want to yank it. It cannot show on Peacock, on any of the streaming services for 45 days. Now, you're saying, why not 90? Because remember, once you lose the big block, you're lucky to get half of it back. At least I'm getting 6 weeks of exclusivity. But that's another issue, is that people know these things will be at home, and that hurts box office, no question. So if Thunderbolts does big numbers, where you can't the statement? No, because listen, it's these films now are almost their own entity, right? Deadpool Wolverine was its own thing. Now you've got Captain America trying to be part of the MCU, and they're like, no. So this film is being viewed as its own thing. Thunderbolts will be viewed kind of as own exclusive little thing. And then, of course, I just mentioned Fantastic Four for the reasons. So the problem is that the cohesion is not there between the films. They tried to do something with that post Endgame, and the problem is it didn't work because the films weren't great. So now you've got these one-offs, right, that are loosely stitched together, if at all. I mean, you go look at Brave New Worlds end credit scene. Why did you even stay? What's the point? Who cares? I mean, at least before, you'd had Harry Styles, even though he never has come back and we don't know if he ever will. You had Charlize Theron. You had things that were occurring. This one is like, wait, this is the same people in the movie. Why am I still sitting here? And then it's like, that's it, right? So that's also missing, right? The cohesion that was so well written as we look at that build up to Endgame. You look at how every film just kept growing and growing and growing. You look at a film like Captain Marvel did huge numbers because it was the build towards Endgame, Infinity War Endgame. And because of that, if you were involved in the MCU, I don't care what it was, if the Marvels came out pre-Endgame, it would have been a hit because it was bulletproof, the MCU. Now, these films are in trouble the moment they hit the multiplex, unless they're great. This film's not great. So no, Spidey Sensei, I'm not going to recant the story. This is 100%. Everything I'm saying tonight is dead on. Okay, 100%. And you guys know it. I guarantee you have more likes on this stream already because I have nailed the problem and been objective about it. Okay, so no, I'm not going to go back. Because right now, the information that is in front of us is the MCU's fucked. There's no other way to put this here tonight. Zero build-up to the next Avenger films. Compare that with now it's bleak for Feige. There's no interest in the MCU. Okay? People don't care. The average person, if you go up and ask him, hey, are you excited to go see Captain America or Thunderbolts? Well, first of all, I don't even know what Thunderbolts is, but no, I mean, I kind of stopped with Endgame. There's the problem. You had momentum. When you have momentum in life and you let it fall and completely shatter, right? It's gone. to rebuild is almost impossible. Okay. So the MCU is still trying. Obviously, they are a multi-billion-dollar brand, so we know that it's not dead. But again, the level of success is so much lower now. The bar is going to be so much lower for these because of what we're seeing here with these films that do not blow the audiences away. When you're in a lull, you need to blow the audience away. Deadpool and Wolverine did that. I don't care what you think of the film. Audiences love that film. Okay. I sat through that film 3 or 4 times in multiplexes, and every time I sat in with a regular crowd, they were dying. They had a blast. This is not that. Okay. So, right, that was helping rebuild. And then you get to Captain America Brave New World, and you're like, wait, now all that's gone. Okay. The Deadpool Wolverine goodwill has evaporated. And now we're sitting on another low point in Captain America Brave New World, an underwhelming film at best. And then you're asking people to be excited for Thunderbolts? No, they're not going to be. So you almost have to look at these films like a Thunderbolts as its own. Just forget about the MCU. This is just we got to get, that's how Disney almost has to approach this now. Let's just try to market this as a film, not part of the MCU. That's how bad it's gotten, right? Let's not even really mention that Thunderbolts, let's just say they're different superheroes from some other comic book entity. I mean, that's almost where we're at. Okay, yeah, a little overstating, but you know what I'm saying. It's not nearly the untouchable platinum brand that it was on the build to Endgame. What do you think happened? Jonathan Majors and Kang kind of ruined the MCU on where they wanted to go. Yes and no. I mean, obviously that hurt them, but I don't even think Kang was all that interesting, right? I mean, listen, we go back and we look at Ant-Man 3 looks like a masterpiece now compared to Brave New World. And I think anyone would have to admit that. But, I like Majors, right? I've defended Majors. In whatever happened with Majors, listen, you have to have a chance to rebuild your life. I'm a 100% believer that you don't cancel people short of something that is truly horrific. So Majors hopefully will get a second chance. Magazine Dreams, I can't wait to see it. But yes, I think that did not help. But listen, if Majors is still in, it's still in trouble. Okay. Let's just, again, it's very simple. Marvel will never be at the Endgame level again, unless there's only one way, that you somehow throw a Hail Mary between now and the next Avengers film with some film that is a 95 out of 100 on my scale. And I'm like, this is one of the best films of the year. Oh my God, this. And then we get to Avengers and it's a 97 out of 100. But the problem is that's not going to happen. The chances are almost zero because I have seen repeatedly the writing on these films, the creativity on these films, they're just not there. Because of that, you're not going to be able to get back. Again, when people aren't interested and you don't give them a 97 out of 100 film, then you are not going to get the fence sitter to be interested in your film again. It's really simple, right? You've got to be great plus to get people to buy back in to caring and truly investing in the MCU. And that's not happening right now. They're building this all up for X-Men when that drops. No, listen, X-Men does not appeal to everybody. It sure appeals more than Captain America right now. But when you look at the typical X-Men movie, yes, they've had hits, but it's not Spider-Man. Okay. It's not Iron Man. It's not, you got to understand, Marvel's bread and butter is Iron Man. And now we know gone. And you look at Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the number one superhero along with Batman. Obviously, it's DC and Superman. And we'll find out what happens this summer. Marvel does not have a character that comes close. And the X-Men are not Spider-Man. Let's make sure that's clear. I'm not even the biggest, comic book nerd, but anybody knows that Spider-Man is like infinitely larger in the overall interest scope of people than X-Men. Okay. Not even a contest.
Not a contest. You might like X-Men, but I'm telling you, you're being biased in your own filter. The truth is, Spider-Man smashes X-Men from an overall appeal. You know, you talk about a Spider-Man, you're talking about little kids wanting to go with their families. Little kids don't want to go see the X-Men. They don't give a shit about X-Men. Come on, man. Don't be real here. Be fucking real. Don't do this shit. The X-Men are not anywhere near Batman, Spider-Man, Superman. It's not even close. There's no contest, okay? Deadpool, Wolverine, yes, but not X-Men. Not X-Men. So I totally disagree. Spidey, clearly you're a comic book person, but I'm just letting you know you're too far, your head's too far in the universe. I'm not. That's the beauty of being detached from these things and seeing things from the outside and seeing them from a normal person's lens. Right, guys? I'm probably the only guy that does this that actually touches grass. So many people in this thing, all they do is, I want to watch movies all day. And I want to, dudes, get out in the real world, okay? And the real world tells me that people don't give a shit about the MCU anymore. And I don't blame them, because these movies are underwhelming. It's part of the problem. Evans, Cap, RDJ, Iron Man are the Avengers. Exactly correct. The interest isn't really sustained after they left. I'm not sold on the obvious desperation move of RDJ as Doom. That's exactly what it was. It was, we need something that's going to get people excited again. I hate the choice. I love RDJ. I just hate the choice. I don't even care how you try to explain it. It just is bizarre. Okay. It's just bizarre. The only reason is we got to get people talking again, right? The problem is when you go out and you make those big splashy announcements and you make bold moves that are probably too much, like 2 moves too much. The problem is that they typically backfire because people have their anticipation level raised and then the product is not as good. Again, this all gets fixed by giving people 95 out of 100 films, or at least a 90 out of 100. We're not even close. We're not even close. We're at 60 for Captain America Brave New World. 60. We are 30 plus points away from a film that would make the meter sort of move. But instead, like I said in the review last night, we have barely kept momentum going forward. And it's already dead. I'm saying whatever momentum's there is slowly, just barely pushing forward. Versus, wham, Deadpool Wolverine. Hello, we're back. No, you're not. It's Deadpool and Wolverine. Right? Should James Gunn and WB be worried about getting off comic book films? Listen, comic book films are never going to be as big as they were. Let's face facts. Films aren't going to be as big as they are. They were. And I think Tarantino nailed it. Because the world is different, everybody's got a million options. In the old days, and even up to 2019, when you had that exclusivity of the 90-day window, you had people that, when I was a kid, you had to go see the movie in the multiplex and everyone was talking about it, right? As Jerry Seinfeld got dragged for a few months ago, they're not nearly the cultural landmark and carry the same significance that they did in the past. You know, you go back to movies from all the way back from the advent all the way through till 2019, essentially. I mean, obviously we saw a drop off when people started to do the streaming more, but, you know, theatrical was always kind of the holy grail of movies, and everybody recognized it as such. And they went to the cathedrals and they paid their respects to film. The problem is now is that you have all the studios trashing the legacy of theaters by putting things at home for you to watch after a week or two. And every time I got someone who comes in and goes, why do you care? Because I'm trying to save movie theaters. You can wait. That's what I care. You can wait. Okay. You're not that important. We don't need to give it to you at home in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You're going to wait 6 weeks minimum. And I'm being kind by giving it to you in 6 weeks. Again, remember what my default is all the time. Do not cut people slack. Stop listening to bitch about stuff. I want it at home. Too fucking bad. Shut up. You're going to get it in 6 weeks if you're lucky. I don't care if you whine. And listen, you can say what you want about what's happening with politics right now. The whiners have been shut up. And thank God, okay? So tired of, I'm this and that. I'm a victim. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear your victimhood bullshit. It is such a weak ass energy. And I'm telling you, to say it every time, I'll do it again tonight. Anytime I open up X or any kind of social media and I see someone going, I had a bad day, shut the fuck up and get outside and do something, you mopey ass bitch. I can't stand that energy. And let me tell you, the same thing for the whiners, like I want it at home. Too bad. You're going to wait. And you're lucky I'm giving it to you in 6 weeks. I want to push it to 10 weeks. I want to do Top Gun Maverick and make it 6 months. And look what happened with Top Gun Maverick. That film slayed because audiences were like, well, I want to watch it. I guess I have to go to the movie theaters. Top Gun Maverick saved movie theaters, especially for older audiences who had not been back pre-quote pandemic, and they were afraid to go back because we were told if you go to the movie theater, you will kill everybody you know and the people they know, and frankly, the people behind them. Everyone's going to die if you go to the movie theaters because you fucking bought into that shit. Yeah, some of you fucking bought into it. We almost lost movie theaters, okay? And I'll rail on this every time I get a chance. It's a Friday night. I was just chilling, and now I'm going to rail on the COVID bullshit we lived through. We're not doing it again. Okay, it's not happening. And if you're one of those people who are like, well, I don't, shut up. The Frosties of the world, especially you beta fucking bitch. Do not ever do that again. If you do that again, I'm going to hunt you down myself and I'm going to pop you in the fucking face. You're not doing that shit again. Okay, we're not doing that shit. And the fact that we ended up where we were is because we had those whiny ass bitches going, oh, well, I don't know if it's safe. You stay home. We won't miss you. And that's the bottom line. Sermon over. I'm sorry, Sully. That's what we do. Because the reason I go so hard all the time on that, someone's going to comment, oh, he's going on COVID. Because it's going to try. They're going to do it again. And if you fall for it again, that's you. Again, like I said, as long as people are not walking down the street, scanner style, with heads exploding, I'm going to go about my life. And you should too. And if you don't feel comfortable, that's fine. Again, we don't have to bend all of our ways to make you feel okay. That's not our job. I've never asked somebody in my life, could you not do that? Because it's hurting my feelings. Shut the fuck up. It's very simple. Not doing it. Okay? Don't be one of those people. You are the reason we almost lost movie theaters and more, but people died. No shit. But also, guess what? Part of life is risk. You leave your house every day not knowing if you're going to return. Okay? Yeah, you could sit in your hermetically sealed home. Oh, you'll be safe. But are you living? No. Part of living is letting go and not going, oh, what if? So what? I lived a good life. I'm not going to cry about it. And you shouldn't either. Get out there and do things. And do not be told ever again, stand 10 feet apart. And if you go only one way down the fucking aisle at the grocery, unbelievable. I remember living through that. I remember shaking my head when I walked in going, you guys are fucking insane. That you guys are buying all of this it's insane. It's insane what people did. I can't even believe what happened. I was thinking this when it was happening. So don't say now 5 years later. I knew in 2020, the day they shut everything down, I was working out at the park and the cops rolled up and they were like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm working out at the fucking park, bro. And they didn't arrest me because I didn't play the game. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So we're not doing that again. Yeah. Exactly. Deadpool will not happen again. Guys, Avengers and Spider-Man 420. That's maybe the only way to say this. I mean, literally, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get as much as you can from Spider-Man, Deadpool, and Wolverine. Now, here's the problem. And we talked about this over the past several streams. Obviously, the Lively Baldoni and, yes, Ryan Reynolds situation. Again, bring it to that here as we continue just a little longer here on this Friday night. Thanks for being here, MMT, as always, live from the City of Angels. And if you don't like what you hear, too bad. It's what we do. It's not going to change. When you look at the Lively, Reynolds, Baldoni, and yes, it is a triangle, okay? Ryan Reynolds' stock is low, okay? He has taken a massive hit, and there's no question that that's the case. if you just look at the court of public opinion on that entire case, it is really going bad for Lively and for Reynolds. Reynolds had this image, as we know, heading out of even Deadpool, right? Up until this whole thing happened, of this fun loving, likable guy, quick witted, all that stuff, owner of Wrexham, Aviation Gin, sold that for 600 plus million, Mint Mobile, face of the Deadpool franchise and so many other films. And you look at where he is now, even Marvel could not greenlight a Deadpool movie right now. They would have to keep that thing on ice because of what's happening. And there's so many still moving parts. And the problem is for Reynolds and for Marvel in this case with Deadpool, this is not something that's going to be over in a week, in a month. Right now, it's scheduled to go to the trial in 2026. That means you're looking at over a year before the trial. The only way this ends, and we talked about this last night, is if Reynolds and Lively pony up a huge amount of cash, pay it to Baldoni, and then just have it disappear. Because the longer this festers, and if it goes to court, Ryan Reynolds cannot make a film. You can't. If I'm a studio head, and you guys know I think better than 99% of them, hell, all of them, 100%. When you look at me having to make the call of greenlighting anything with Ryan Reynolds right now, I'm going to say we got to wait. Ryan, I like you. I'm a huge fan of Ryan Reynolds. I've said that, and I know a lot of you are like, oh, at least I'm being honest, right? At least I'm being forthright and being unvarnished and not, hiding my allegiances. I like the guy. Okay. Now, that said, based on all the information I'm looking at from that counter lawsuit from Baldoni, you are looking at a situation where Reynolds knew at least something about what was happening, right? We can assume that. He was in on the meeting. That's all there. And the fact that he could have been involved in the destruction of Baldoni's career through William Morris, getting rid of the agent, obviously everything trying to get him blacklisted, essentially pulled off the film. These are charges that are not simply going to go away. In some ways, Jonathan Majors has an easier way back right now. I know that sounds insane, what I just said, but remember, what's the number one thing that you need when you are at a low in your stock, especially in Hollywood? You need time away. And Reynolds doesn't have that luxury. He's a working actor. He's the face of a franchise. He has, we looked last night, 9 projects coming up. All of that is on ice. It's on hold because of what's happening. That's why I told you, and it didn't happen today, I would have written $100 million check to Baldoni, had an NDA signed, and that thing's done so that over the long weekend, it's done. People talk about it tonight, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, they're out, whatever. And by Tuesday, yeah, it's still a story, but it's not as big. And obviously, the number one thing is it's over, because when that happens, then you can start to rebuild Reynolds as a brand, because you have to, because he's taken a hit, right? Look at all the comments. Go look on one of the tweets about Ryan Reynolds. Let's just do it right now, because what the hell? I'm just here on a Friday night shooting the shit with you guys. Let's do it real quick. We'll go to X and I'll just do a Ryan Reynolds search, because this all dovetails into what we're talking about. It's not like I'm sitting here discussing something totally different than what we started here with Marvel Studios. This is about Deadpool. This is about arguably their number one behind, listen, if you think about it, Deadpool is Marvel Studios' number one comic book character, because Spider-Man's Sony, right? It's Marvel, but Sony. So Disney Marvel's number one character. And what did he say in the movie? What did Deadpool? He is Marvel Jesus. So wait a second. If Marvel Jesus is in trouble, you don't think that they're in trouble? You don't think that yeah, exactly. Now you see how the pieces fit together. Let's just look right now. This is right now. This is live. This is just some random things from X that are comments about Ryan Reynolds. Okay, I didn't filter. I'm just looking. I'm going to skip that one. Let's see if I can find someone. Seeing all the Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds hate is sending me because I hated them since 2010. Hated. 30 likes. Here's one. A wild how Ryan Reynolds is getting wrecked over this Blake Lively v. Baldoni fiasco. His public image went from fun-loving to hateful POS very, very quickly. 11,000 likes, almost 1 million impressions, 900,000 or so. Do you see this? This wasn't here. This wasn't here 6 months ago. We were like, oh, it's 1.3 billion. It's Deadpool Wolverine. When are we getting Deadpool Wolverine 2? And now Deadpool, Marvel Jesus, is getting dragged with 11,000 likes of his public image. Is bad. Comment under that. Not for me. Media is easily played. Okay, that's someone defending. They're saying he's a good man. And again, I don't know. I'm just telling you right now it's bad. I'm not condemning or convicting them, but based on everything I've seen in this counter lawsuit, here's the other reason I say that I think I'm right here about Lively and Reynolds. Do you notice who's the one that's out there in Hawaii, like surfing waves? It's Baldoni. Who are the two that are holed up, disappeared? If you thought that you were winning the court of public opinion, and if you thought that you had a trump card to throw on this Baldoni counter lawsuit, you wouldn't be hiding. You'd be out in front of it going, oh, I'm good, right? Even if people were dragging you, you'd be like, you guys are going to look silly as hell in a couple of weeks when I throw this card out. Here's the card. The Baldoni's a scum. Here's the tape. Oh, my God, right? If that's the case, I would want to throw it now. I wouldn't even wait to court because right now the damage is being done. That's the thing that Baldoni and his lawyers have done so well here, right? They have emptied the proverbial kitchen sink on Lively and Reynolds, and it is making them look terrible to the point where they're both in hiding. I mean, they're in WITSEC right now because of these comments. It's just nasty. Everything is just... Ryan Reynolds was engaged to ScarJo and he cheated on her and left her right before they were going to get married. Did everyone forget that? See, these are the kind of things, right? He's literally a POS. I'm just reading what's here. I'm not saying, trust me, the Twitter mob comes after me and I go, okay, eyes rolling, give me a break. What's the reason? Why do you hate me? Because I just trashed you and said you were a fool for freaking out about COVID. So what? You were. Own it. I mean, what's the big deal? Own it. Okay. I didn't try to destroy someone's career. I make fun of Eric Davis, but again, he's a shill. What do you want me to do? It's true. It's not like I'm making up accusations. That's the thing here, right? It looks like Baldoni's the good guy. And they said this guy is a sexual harasser. That's the problem, right? So, you look here, Blake Mean Girl, Gaslight Queen Lively's over. Bye, Felicia. Slacker, she's done. I told you guys, we'll go a couple more minutes. I can't believe I've been on for 40 minutes. I just wanted to come on and talk about the B- cinema score. And this is what happened. They get all wound up, right? Like The Monkey and the Monkey. Terrible movie. And here I go again on my own. Look at Lively. The only way back for her is exactly this. This is a scenario I laid out last night, right? So they give Baldoni $100 million. Okay, it's got to be a huge fucking amount of cash. Baldoni signs the NDA. Part of the agreement, Marvel steps in and says, Justin, we're going to have you're going to direct Ant-Man 4. Right? Who cares? Doesn't matter. Because we all know that the Marvel director doesn't even mean shit. It's literally like direction by committee. Feige comes in, finishes it. They take directors off like they did. Apparently, Sam Raimi, sources tell me he was removed from the film and just finish it with other people. So it's a machine, right? So, hey, Baldoni, we'll let you direct a Marvel movie if you just let this thing go. We're going to give you $20 million to direct because remember, Marvel is going to pay Baldoni a lot of money to direct a film because they're saving the brand, right? Think about it. Again, back to The Social Network. It's a speeding ticket. For Marvel to give Baldoni a $10 million payday on a directorial option is nothing compared to the $1.3 billion that Deadpool Wolverine just made, right? So that's my point, is that in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean shit. And saving Ryan Reynolds, plucking him out of the proverbial fire is going to be beneficial for them. So you get Baldoni to direct a Marvel movie, not Deadpool, but something that has nothing to do. Because here's the thing, Baldoni and Reynolds, they'll probably never see eye to eye. I get that. But it's Hollywood. They need to have their careers continue. Both of them really do. Obviously, Reynolds for sure. He has way more financially to lose than Baldoni here. So you pay the money. Marvel hires him to do a movie, and then you have Blake Lively. Here's how you say Blake Lively. I'm just, again, if they want to bring me in for negotiations, I'll take care of it. And I'll talk exactly how I'm talking right now. You think I've walked into CAA. I've walked into the lobby, and I'm not at all intimidated. Okay, CAA is the #1 agency on the planet. I've been in there a million. I just walk in. It's no big deal. Okay, I don't get intimidated. If I'm doing this stream, you don't think I'm going to do it the same thing when I'm in person? I don't care anymore. It doesn't matter. I'm going to walk in and I'm going to say, here's the deal. Baldoni, you're going to get $100 million. Marvel is going to hook you up with a film. Here's what I need from you. Also, you're going to have to sign an NDA, but this is what I need. And this is very important for Lively. And I know that this is going to be hard for you based on what's happened. I get it, but you're getting a lot of money. We're going to help. You need to put Blake Lively back in It Ends With Us Too. You just bring her back. You guys go together, do a tour, fake it, kiss your feet. Everything is good. And that way, Lively saves whatever she has left. Reynolds can get back to Deadpool, and Baldoni can get back his footing and direct a Marvel movie. I'm telling you, it would be done. I could get it done today if they would have listened to me. They don't listen. They don't come on. I'm here. The fucking advice is gold, okay? If we were like, what was the Roaring Kitty? If this were like a stock advice program, you guys would be so fucking rich right now from watching the show because all the points are dead on. I don't care if you hate the evaluation, it's dead on, okay? You might not like it. We know Anora's terrible. I am 100% right. And know I'm right. We are the gold fucking standard. You guys know that. So when you look at that situation, that's how you fix it. And that's how everyone makes out. And most importantly, the #1 thing I'm trying to save is Ryan Reynolds' career. Because, again, remember, I'm extracting elements. What's the #1 most important thing here from a financial basis in Hollywood? It is Ryan the fucking Golden Goose Reynolds, essentially. And even if you don't like the guy, most audiences do. And I want to protect the Golden Goose by paying Baldoni off, getting my wife back to work, and then everyone can somehow heal. And the money's going to help Baldoni, okay? But you're not going to get a mea culpa. You're not going to get an apology from them because that's going to make it harder for them to rebuild their image. Yes, we are not, what is it, you plead, right? We are not going to admit that we did these things. We tried to destroy you, Baldoni, but we are going to give you $100 million, which I think should say everything here, right? So that's the key. Is the money is going to speak for the actions, which apparently, based on everything I'm reading, reprehensible. Okay. But remember, money can heal lots of things. Look how many people go into court, right? They're going back and forth. Here's the settlement. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Right? Look at Bill O'Reilly. All those sexual lawsuits he had against him. Here comes the $20 million. What were they doing? Trying to protect him. Bill O'Reilly. That's what they did. That's what the hell was. It was all part of trying to keep him in, and eventually it was too much. Right now, Ryan Reynolds is taking shots from every fucking angle. And if I am Marvel, if I am Disney, I am going to get on the phone with Baldoni and I'm going to give him a Marvel movie and I'm going to settle this myself. I'm not going to get them involved. I'm going to say, if you drop it, we're going to hire you for the next Marvel movie. And also we're going to slide you a massive paycheck for it, but you've got to drop the lawsuit. And we've already talked to them and they're going to drop it too. We can't tell you that, but they're going to fucking drop it. That's how you heal it. Why am I not? I can walk down the street to Disney and get this done. And I'm here on a YouTube stream on a Friday night. Unbelievable. Saving public Ryan. Thank you, Dog Catcher. That was brilliant. All right, we're on for like another 2 minutes. Open comments. Gone Girl, hit me. Anything that is, sort of relevant. Don't ask me if I've seen some random movie here. It's Friday night. I wasn't even going to do a stream. I know the Lively Baldoni situation is getting bad when my mom, who doesn't watch movies, knows all about it. Exactly, Harrison. That's what I'm talking about. The arrows are absolutely making all sorts of marks on obviously Reynolds. That's the number one target here because Blake Lively's not a big deal. Okay, she's just not. Okay. This was the biggest thing she's done in forever. And it was more about the book than her, whether Colleen Hoover wanted or not. Ryan Reynolds is the golden goose. Okay. And we got to protect him. Put the force shield on, because right now, my man is taking way too many bullets. And you look here, if your mom's talking about it, the average person's talking about it, Megyn Kelly's getting rich off of videos. I'm giving you better stuff than she is. We don't get it's fine, because I called the stream Captain America. People hate it. If I called the stream Blake Lively, how to fix it, which I might do, there's going to be someone who takes everything I just said and tries to deliver. The problem is no one can do it like I did. Nobody. There's nobody. That's what we do. Right? AI can't do this shit. This show's weird because I'm fucking weird. You can't assemble this weird concoction of skills into any kind of character ever again. That's the reason the MMT is what it is. It's not like any other show because I'm not like everybody else. That's the key. That's what makes this different. That's what makes me different than 99% of the people you watch on YouTube. They're replaceable. There's nothing interesting about them. You guys know that. There's nothing special about Chris Stuckman. Nothing. He was the first guy in. That's exactly what makes him good. And Grace Randolph, nothing special about her. First one in. She's not that talented. I'm just telling you guys, it's the truth. I'll blow both of them out of the water. It's not a contest. Certainly on a live stream. Fucking A. It's not fucking destruction. I'm sorry, they're gone. Of course they are. It's dead. It's over. But here's the deal, is that ultimately, I don't even care. I really don't. Talk about it all the time. If you guys enjoy some of this, it's good, but the advice is fucking golden, man. It's fucking golden. Any other comments here before we get out of here? And I'm done. It's Friday. We're back Sunday. I'm not doing a stream tomorrow. We know what the number is. How would you rate Captain America Brave New World out of 67? This is very good. Okay, I gave it a 60 out of 100. So that is 6/10. 6/10 of 67 is, oh my God, give me a break. It is, hold on. It's a 10, it's a 10.6. Is that what, 10.7? Is that right? I don't even know at this point. No, it's higher than that. Don't make me do maths. Okay. Because it's too late on a Friday. I didn't even want to do a stream, but this is a very good comment here, Sully. Thank you. I think I'm going to wrap at that point. That's the perfect way to end anytime you ask me. He said, by the way, that's a throwback to our Australian reviewer on Rotten Tomatoes who had, I believe, wasn't that right? It was like a 58 out of 67. I'm like, what the fuck is that grading scale? Well, what are we looking at here? What's not even normal? 1 to 10. As me, 0 to 100, 5 stars, right? 4 stars, old school. I like the 0 to 100 because it gives a lot of room to negotiate. 61%, 62. It's just a little bit different, right? So that gives us that opportunity. And Captain America really should have been about 58. I pushed it to 60 because I was feeling generous after watching The Monkey. That's exactly what happened last night. So if you're wondering why I didn't hammer it quite as hard, The Monkey made me want to never go to a movie again. That's how bad that film is from a screenplay and the cringy jokes and characters. Oh my God, The Monkey's bad. Holy shit. So yeah, fuck that movie. So that's why I was more gentle with the Brave New World. Thanks for being here live. As always, I didn't even think I'd be here tonight. And look, we just knocked out 50 minutes of pure gold. I'll see you back here Sunday. Probably open comment. Maybe we'll dig into the Lively and the Reynolds and the Baldoni again, because as Megyn Kelly's proven, this is how you get rich. You just talk about that, and everyone, let's talk. And then people aren't even good. They're talking about, like, these people are, I've watched them stream, might need to just start doing those every night. Here's your Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds update, literally every single night. We'll see you back here Sunday. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll get started with that on Sunday night. And also I have Paddington and Peru, the MMT evaluation. I'll see that tomorrow. Hopefully it's decent. I don't think it'll be like 1 or 2, but who cares? At least it'll be better than The Monkey. Peace out. Live from LA. MMT is out.